that door open? Who's standing there? We'll call this meeting to order at, let's say, 4 o'clock here. Do the invocation. Mr. Don Garvin, would you please bless the meeting?
Yes, sir. Our Father in heaven, creator of all things, we thank you for this opportunity to come to thy place of business. We just thank you for each blessing you bestow on each of us. We thank you for our visitors. We ask now that you would lead our chairman, be with each council person. Forgive us for our sins. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Roll call. Michelle.
Joe Bird.
Donnie.
Don Garvin.
Aye.
Bill England. Jack Baker.
Here.
Julia Coates. Jody Fishinghawk.
Here.
Meredith Fraley. Janelle Fulbright. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Chuck Hoskins Jr.
Here.
Tina Glory Jordan.
Present.
Lee Keener. Dick Lay.
Here.
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton. David Walker-Stick. Karen Cowan Watts. We do have a quorum.
Okay, you have the minutes. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir.
this time make a motion to amend the agenda to add the resolution honoring the life and service of Secretary of State Charles L. Head, a copy of which has been passed on.
Second that.
Okay. Have a motion and a second.
Could I add a friendly to that?
Sure.
Could we add a number 4 on reports and hear a report from Diane Kelly on our summer youth program?
I accept that from
There's one more friendly I'd like to add to that. I'd like to have the Head Start go first, if you guys don't mind. She's got another meeting to attend. Is that good?
That's good.
Okay. All right. All in favor? Let's only do the acclamation. Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Miss.
Thank you so
Pardon?
much. I have
Sure.
a standing 4 o'clock meeting. I've always made it, no problem. But I'm here to answer any questions you might have on my written report that was submitted.
The two council members I wanted to hear this are not in here. Sequoia County, about the status of the Head Start. Maybe this is one
Here
here.
comes one.
Okay, yeah, she needs to hear
At
this.
Belfont.
Yes.
Did you make your visit?
Not yet. I think they're going to meet here within the next week. Councilor Fulbright, there was an issue about Head Start there at Belfont, and I wanted you to hear this. You might explain it just a little bit.
Belfont's one of our public school partners, and we have, as you know, Head Start is a federal program that is just inundated with documentation. And some of the things that we ask the public school teachers are not any different than regular standalone Head Start programs, and that, in fact, might be a little bit less. They've fallen short on some of the requirements, which would really hinder our end result in a review. So we've been keeping them under the spotlight, trying to get them on track and up to par. If that's not the case, then we need to look at relocating.
Have you talked about Mr. Pinkerton?
And then Councilman Bird said he was going to be down there to visit soon.
What I propose to do is at their next board meeting, if you have time, I was going to go and explain to them the situation. And if you have time, you might join me as well.
I will.
Okay. All right.
I now have my phone on if you want to call me from there on any
Okay.
questions.
What you might do is email us a narrative on what we need to be abreast of.
That would be perfect, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions for Ms. Verna Thompson? No? Thank you for your report.
Thank you for.
You're welcome. Okay, Executive Directors, are we going to go, did we move this to go Diane? Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I realize that some of this stuff would have probably came up in the ENF, but in speaking with Chief, he said you might want to run it through education because we're running behind in getting out to the schools for recruiting for summer youth employment program. Last year, we served 578 students. Out of those 578 students, over close to half were 14 and 15-year-olds. The percentage breakdowns show us with 15% of the students we served last summer were 14-year-olds, 20% were 15-year-olds, and 21% were 16-year-olds, 19 and 17-year-olds. Then when you get up from 18 up to 21, they go like 2%, 3%, 6%. So a lot of our older students are getting full-time jobs because we only could offer them 20 hours a week for up to about 6 to 8 weeks. And we were asked last year to look at the 14, 15-year-olds. 14, 15-year-olds are a lot more costly to operate because we have to actually put on teachers in the summer in our GED program to do basic skills, and we had to bring in speakers, field trips, so on and so forth. And I want to thank Frank because she helped us with some cost savings last year because we didn't fill that position and we used that money to help pay for those teachers that we used that summer. And we're going to be faced with that again this year. There's two factors going on here. We have day training participants that we're doing GED with during the summer months. And then also, we have through the schools right now, they are giving us the option to do the work keys assessment to allow these seniors to graduate. If you've got seniors that can't pass that test, they're referring them over to our GED program, and we're working with them to get them up to the basic skills level so they can pass that test and walk across that stage and get their certification. And we're getting more and more calls from the high schools right now, and we're filled up. Our GED teacher in Salisal probably has one of the biggest caseloads, and we're actually going to have to take one of our offices down there and move that person out of that office so that we can use it for a classroom. So we're really hurting in some of the areas, and I just wanted you to be aware of that because Jeff says they've got to get out to the schools and start recruiting, but if we're going to have to serve 14, 15-year-olds, I needed you to know that.
What's the pros and cons of that, of the serving the younger? I mean, is there liability issues you would think?
There is. From an insurance standpoint, it's hard to place 14 and 15-year-olds because of the child labor laws, and it's also from an insurance standpoint. That's one of the reasons why we try to do basic skills with them, so that we can keep them in a confined area.
Counselor Walkenstead?
Dane, what would be the challenges, I guess, of getting an elder work program started, something similar to a day work that has got to be, the income's got to be set and fixed because it's a lot of them draw Social Security and other different types of income. But I know you got a lot on your plate, and I heard Chuck talk briefly about an elder advocate program, and I don't know if they're both the same, but I think I know there's a need for it, and I don't know if there's a way that we can start planning that out and developing something.
I guess I'm not following you. Are you proposing that the elder program would take the place of?
No, not to take the place, to be addition to.
Well, to be quite honest with you, for what we're trying to do with the summer youth program, that's the area that I've got a shortage in, because if I have this high flux of 14 and 15-year-olds coming in for the summer, I'm going to have to shift some of those responsibilities from some of the staff I've got to take care of those 14 and 15-year-olds in the classroom. Well,
I think you got the most responsibility in the whole tribe.
No, I don't.
I think you do.
Well, we'll do whatever we need to do if that's something that you all want us to look at, and we'll work with Human Services in any way we can if it's an employment or job-related service.
I like to see something like that implemented. I just don't know the process of getting it done.
Okay. Let me visit with Marsha Lamb, and we'll come back with something on that, even if it's a pilot project. Is that all right?
Pilot projects are good.
Okay.
Counselor Thornton?
Yes, something's come up today 2 or 3 times, and it's about records and applications and that type of thing. And I'm wondering, in our next budget, 2014, if we couldn't put some kind of a computer operating system together that would cover all our different departments, where if I had an emergency, I could go put in an application. Next year, if I have another emergency, that application is already on file in that computer. All I have to do is walk in there and say, I need some help. And do that with education, housing, health, community services, with all our different committees that we have in all our different departments. That we couldn't get that computerized to where a person walks in there and puts in an application. It wouldn't make any difference if it was day work or if it was for community services for something else, and put it completely on one computer system, which would be a big cost, but in the long run, it would help our people and it would help our departments. And I've got that in mind. I want to see what everybody thinks about that, and I think it would stop a lot of questions that's being going on in every meeting, and just see where we're at on it. I don't know what anybody else thinks about it. Thank you.
It's a good point,
Thank you, Chairman.
Councilman Thornton. I know that several of us have talked about that, because you could actually take a generic application, you could get your basics, and then you could come in here and put a box that would pertain to another different department, and you wouldn't necessarily have to answer this box, because this could be housing or this could be social services. And it's something that could be looked at, because within our department, we took all of our programs and we did a generic 2-page intake, and that intake goes across the board for everything that we do, and then we just add to it if it's this program for these federal guidelines and if it's this program for these federal guidelines.
Well, the good thing about that is if I walked in and put an application for housing, your program would show up too and see where they're at on your program. And that's something that would really help, I think, in the long run. I know it's going to be expensive, but I think it will really work out in the long run for everybody and for the nation and help our people. And that's what we're primarily sitting there for. And I think it would help you or any director or any CEO of any business, because they would have the complete applications on there. And then if something happened, you'd have to have a little questionnaire box there when they walked in. Has your insurance changed? Has your revenue changed in any way? And that would be it.
John James with our IT department has people that have worked with different departments, mine and Marcia's in particular, where they have been actually working with us on a development of the back database, like with our 477 program. But you could probably expand that, and he could look at all of our guidelines and look at the application process and see what they can come up with. So that might be something that could be directed to John, since they are the computer, I don't want to say geeks, IT department. But
Diane, you might bring that up in your executive directors meeting,
Okay.
and see what kind of response you get.
okay, but going back to what I pitched to you guys with the 14, 15-year-olds, I just needed to see what your thoughts were, or if there was any heartburn if we just went with 16 and 21 years of age. We can actually provide 8 weeks as opposed to 6 weeks if we can go with the higher age groups.
Speaker.
I guess what I'm trying to find out is, Diane, what do you need from us? Do you need some comfort level from this body that it's okay to pursue 16-year-old and higher versus the 14 and 15-year-old?
Yes, ma'am. So that we don't have to go back and backtrack like 2 months down the road where somebody says, well, I've got this 14 and 15-year-old I'd like for y'all to serve. Because once we put the information out there in the schools, we'd like to be able to stick with that.
I still loved it when I was a GED teacher, but now I don't know.
Are you saying then you can concentrate more on helping some of these kids get through and graduate,
Yeah.
get their high school diplomas?
That's what my teachers
If
will
we
be
do
focusing on.
this, that's the positive part.
Yeah.
Then we're going to, maybe the negative is that we've got some 14 and 15-year-olds that will probably can't get a job this summer. But they really weren't getting a job. They were coming here and just going through some classes that maybe some of them didn't need. But we couldn't place them anywhere else because of safety and liability issues.
That is correct. That is correct.
I would put that in the form of a motion then.
I think
that-
also, excuse me, not chief, but anyway, those 14, 15-year-olds aren't allowed to work a 40-hour week.
They're not.
So you have to cut them down to 20 and maybe less than that, but I think that's a really good idea.
So we're all comfortable with 16 and over? Is that what we're promoting?
Well, I was gonna just see I was gonna put it in the form of a motion that we allow her to go ahead and commit to 16-year-old and higher for this summer, utilizing her present funds.
Okay.
And I didn't know whether he'd get a second, but at least it'll get us off high center, and she's looking for direction. And so we need to give her that direction from this body. What's going to happen is you're going to get some parents of 14 and 15-year-olds that are going to call you and say, where's that program at? Did you get rid of that program? So she's trying to give us notice right now, is this the direction you want to go?
We have a motion second. Do you have a comment?
I have a question. How many 14, 15-year-olds did you have last year?
Last year, we had 578 who were in the program, and let me give you percentages. We had, out of that pie chart, we had 21% was 16-year-olds, 20% of them were 15-year-olds, and 19% were 17-year-olds, and 15% were 14-year-olds. We didn't have hardly any 21, 20, or 19, or 18-year-olds.
35%.
I'll second.
We got a motion second. Any discussion?
One more thing.
Okay.
As an employer or an employee or the state of Oklahoma or a city, they're going to keep away from the 14 and the 15-year-olds as much as possible. They don't
You're
want to
exactly
deal with
right.
it.
That's why we had to create things for them.
Okay.
That's the deal.
All right. We have a motion second. All signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it. Diane, there's your direction.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
But everybody understands, if I could just make this comment, you're going to get some calls.
Diane just calls.
So, no, we're going to get them. We're going to get some calls.
Love you, Stick. You're very nice.
So we'll have to be ready with our rationale of why we did that, because of safety and liability issues.
But you could also, Mr. Chair, you could also point out the fact that with State Superintendent Maurice changing that law on these high school graduates, and that went into effect last year, that's one of the reasons why we're getting a lot of calls. And we're going to be meeting with Dr. Morton and Mandy, I think tomorrow or Wednesday, and we'll be able to give that information to some of the schools so they can refer some of the students to us where we have the GED sites.
You make sure we have that information shared out there in our media.
Okay.
Okay.
Glad to.
Okay, we have Counselor Fulbright.
Yes, I want to say something about our GED teachers also. First, I'm going to say, she's my cousin, half of Sequoia County is. I'm not just bragging on her because of that. Her name is Teresa Lattimore Katsatis, and she has recruited students, made home visits. She's got a count of more than it has ever been. She is a real go-getter to help those people get their GED. I think you did a good thing when you did.
Thank you. I applaud her.
Counselor Hoskins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the summer youth, we're using U.S. Department of Labor grant dollars for that in part. Is that right? Or we have historically?
We're using federal dollars and we're using tribal dollars, both.
With respect to the federal dollars, there's a residency requirement for the program. So if someone lives right outside our national borders, but the town that people work in is inside, the folks that live outside do not qualify. Is that right? They cannot apply or can't
With the
apply?
federal programs, you have to go within the jurisdictional boundaries, but we could place someone outside the boundaries at a job site or a school that's nearby wherever they live. With the tribal dollars, we do contiguous counties.
So if as a resident of a contiguous county wants to work inside the nation, maybe it's a mile commute, we can do that?
Yes.
Okay. I think in my neck of the woods, I don't think people understand that. I didn't understand that. So, particularly up in the Coffeyville area, I know there's some kids that would, if there was an opportunity to come across the line, would the job site have to be inside the nation?
No, the job site could be right
Okay.
bordering.
In a contiguous
Yeah,
county.
if it's
Okay.
on tribal dollars. Now,
Right,
if it's
I understand.
federal, no.
But I understand. But we are using some travel dollars, so if we
Yes.
have applicants from that area, assuming we have the money, we can certainly.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Counselor Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I apologize, it took a while for me to get to the late November report. I think we may have received it in December on the Terra status report. And I was trying to decipher because what I was talking about was the tribal funds set aside for employer fees and such. And I was trying to figure out on your report which amount was set aside for those things, what was actually going to constituents. Because I understood the way we had the law was it was to go to constituents, and that's not what was necessarily happening, or the report that we received was not, maybe not addressing this.
Okay. This is education, isn't it, or is it ENF?
Now, I thought this was also covered on this tarot too. My apologies if it didn't.
Well, I didn't come prepared for the tarot, so
Okay.
I apologize,
Well,
but
do you
I will
want
be
to
glad to
stay
get with
after
you.
the-
You bet, you
Okay.
bet. And I will get that for you.
Then another question I had was, and you may have answered it, I apologize for coming in late, the status of the day work program. There's people that have said it's suspended, but I didn't understand, and I didn't remember that from the reports.
Okay. It's actually suspended for any of the tribal dollars
Okay.
because we've completed most all that. What we're doing right now is we still have a day training program, but it's with any C&B dollars. And that's like, for instance, at the casino or any of our tribal entities like Cherokee Nation Industries, they actually will tell us how many workers they need, and we're still supplying them labor for a 3-day training. And we do this in Tucson, we do it in Fort Gibson, CNI, at Pryor, and at Stillwell, and West Salem Springs, and also Rowland.
We're doing it at Cherry Springs also.
Cherry Springs, well, we will be, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Diane.
Counselor Hargis?
I didn't have a question. I just wanted to say, for any of you who do get those calls, you might refer the 14-year-olds over to the Community Youth Grant Fund. I mean, they can earn $200, and that wouldn't have to be inside all summer long.
That's good.
Good idea.
That's a good point. Counselor Fulbright?
Yes, thank you. Are we still putting any day workers over Hastings Hospital?
That needs to be.
I don't believe we are at this time. Unless there is okay, I will tell you what we are doing. I forgot. Any of the programs that can pay for, reimburse us for any of the day training, we are supplying them with day training labor. I believe Anna Knight in Commerce is one that I can think of right off the top of my head. She had 2 vacancies and she requested some of the day training. She's reimbursing us, and I believe the health department may be doing that as well in a couple of areas. I can't tell you how many, but I think facilities, some of the other areas are. Yeah, they are.
Any more questions for our director?
I just would like to say one thing about Job Corps. If you've been keeping up with it, there is a congressional hearing that will be taking place if you listen to the news. One of the chairmen for education and workforce is conducting a hearing on Job Corps because of them calling monies back from all the 120 Job Corps centers, and we were not the only one that they called money back. And they told us as of January the 20th that we can't do drawdowns anymore. We have to do reimbursements, and we'll be doing that. And we're going to go through it the first time, I guess, this month and see how that works. Fiscal year starts July 1, fiscal year ends June 30th. And we see that right now we have a freeze on any new inputs. That's the recruits that come into the center. So if you get calls from people asking why we are not taking any students, we're still taking applications. It's just that they have put a moratorium freeze on all centers at this point in time. And we really feel like that they'll lift that freeze. That's kind of what Department of Labor does every once in a while. And that's what they do. Right? They froze travel and they froze any inputs. We were at 282 students as of the week of President's Week in January. We're down to 267 as of last Friday. Any other questions?
Good information.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Executive Director's report, we have Dr. Gloria Sly with us today.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to answer any questions you might have on the educational report, the written report.
Sir Watkins, too.
That's right. The scholarship process online, last year was found failure, and we adopted a new program off of the Choctaws. What is that? Is that going to be a pretty good thing for us?
The staff are hoping that it will. They've looked at it, they've reviewed it. It will not go online until next month.
Next month.
And in time for the applications for this summer and fall.
That's good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Councilor Hardee's.
Dr. Sly, I received a phone call, well, actually a couple, that said the students at Sequoia High School are paid when they pass their test, the state mandated test. Do you know anything about that, or can you check that out for me and get back with me?
I know nothing about it, but I'll definitely check it out. I know that when we were there, we gave them incentives for passing certain tests, hoping to get their best performance, but I'm not sure that that's ongoing.
Okay, well, the one lady that called me, her nephew goes there, and she said that he got paid for passing his test, and her son goes to Stillwell, and she wants him paid as well.
Okay, I will check on that for you.
Yeah, she needs pain. Dr. Slime,
Yes, sir.
I visited with the scholarship department last week, and I was really impressed of the amount of scholarship money we were given and the numbers we were given too. Met with Mindy Scott, said we were given around 5,000, and the Choctaws were given about the same amount, but we had half the staff as they do.
Yes.
So,
And right now, we're not even fully staffed for the numbers that we've, proposed so far. We have a couple more advisors that we need to hire, but we've looked at a couple of panels, picked one or two, and one of them declined by the time we got through the process. So, yes, they do. They do have more staff than we do.
yes. Well, that was good. Also, this is on another note, with Sequoia High School, when that time comes, I want to see how they revise that handbook that's
Okay.
outdated.
Okay.
That was outdated. I think they addressed it at the last school board meeting,
Uh-huh.
and I think they made the correction that was a concern of some people.
Okay.
I had several emails on that, but I talked to the superintendent and the principal, and they said they addressed it and made the appropriate changes in the handbook.
Okay. Very good. I'll double check on that and I'll and respond to that one then.
Okay. Any more questions? Yes. Sorry about that, Councilor Keenan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dr. Sly, is the youth council under your purview?
Not at the moment. It's being transferred there now.
Do you know anything about Unity and plans for the youth council?
I know about Unity, but I'm not sure. I haven't reviewed their budgets to see how many will be going or who, at this point.
Okay.
So,
It's coming up fairly quick,
Mhm.
and I think it's a lot of time next month.
but if not, I can respond to you via email.
Okay.
And if I don't respond to you in the next couple of days, email me and say, Gloria, you said you would get this for me.
Okay.
Because I do forget. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Any more questions? Do have someone from Sequoia High School next month,
Okay.
and I want to hear a little report on how we address the OSSAA situation. I did read some positive information in Daily Oklahoma, Tulsa World, Skokie paper on that, so I think we're almost past that, but I want to get a little bit more of explanation on what we did and what we're going to do to reconcile if this doesn't happen again.
We will have them here.
Okay. Question, Fishing Hall?
Yeah, I was over there, I had called over there the other day and talked to somebody about throwing out a FAFSA. And I'm not sure which lady I talked to, but they was very helpful and very congenial and very nice to talk to.
Thank you. I will pass on the compliment.
Thank you very much for your report. Moving down to old business, none pending. New business. Mr. David Walkenstein, you going to present that?
Yeah.
While Mr. Chairman, while Councilor Walkenstick is getting that together, councilors, you have the current policy for concurrent enrollment eligibility and a brochure from the Oklahoma State Department of Education that talks about what they provide, which is pertinent to Councilor Walkenstick's legislation amendment, and so we wanted to make sure that you had this, so you would be fully informed when it talks about it.
Thank you very much. All right, you're up.
Chairman, this is a act relating to amendments to the Concurrent Enrollment Scholarship Act of 2011, revised eligibility requirements, and I'd like to make a motion for approval.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay, go.
Just without objection, would the sponsor allow me to join as a co-sponsor? I applaud him on his continued efforts in this regard.
Is anyone else want to be added to the sponsorship? We got Garvin. Is it anybody here that does not want to be in this? Okay.
Everybody but you.
Yeah, you understand.
Sure. I can't take full credit for this amendment if it does pass in this council. Councilwoman Fishenhawk's one that brought this to my attention about there are some juniors in Adair County, and I had some as well in Muskogee County that was needing this assistance, and which the Higher Regions doesn't fund these juniors for their tuition to go to college. So anyway, that was the reason the amendment came along.
Okay, thank you. Legislative back, roll call vote.
I had a question.
Okay.
Under eligibility, it says the student must be a Cherokee Nation citizen that resides in the Cherokee Nation Higher Education Non-Pell Scholarship Programs. Now, the striking part that says the Cherokee Nation Scholarship Program Service Area, see attached map. Does this still include all the surrounding counties in the Cherokee Nation? Include areas such as Fort Center, Coffeyville?
I would assume it does, but there's legal.
But I want to be sure.
The map stayed the same. The map does not change.
But this doesn't refer to a map anymore.
That language was stricken, so.
The part that's referring to the map is stricken.
I would say to keep the map in there.
Yeah, well, the map, can I?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. The at-large community gets the non-Pell students. Well, the Pell students are the ones that get the Cherokee Nation scholarship, correct? The Pell.
No. But I
mean outside the service area.
My question is, the map included the counties surrounding the Cherokee Nation. But I would like for this to also include that same area.
Sure. I think that makes sense. Councilor
For a
Hoskins.
friendly amendment that we include the service area map.
Yeah, and the second accept.
Okay.
You could say that the service area map in the original legislation remains the same.
Okay.
I said that.
Yeah.
So you accept the friendly? Any comments, Councilor? Do you have a comment, Councilor Friendly?
No, I was going to make that motion,
Okay.
or not motion, but friendly amendment.
Okay. So the friendly's accepted, okay? All in favor, say aye. Okay, Councilor
Friendly
Kirby?
accepted, I will be added as a sponsor now.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, legislative back, let's just go roll call vote.
Bill England,
Yes.
Jack Baker,
Yes.
Joe Bird,
Yes.
Julia Coates,
Yes.
Jody Fishinghawk, Mary Fraley,
Yes.
Janelle Fulbright, Don Garvin,
Yes.
Frankie Hargis,
Yes.
Chuck Hoskin Jr.
Yes.
Lori Jordan.
Yes.
Lee Keener.
Yes.
Dick Lay.
Yes.
Curtis Snell.
Yes.
David Thornton.
Yes.
David
Yes.
Wapnick. Carrie Callen Watts.
Yes.
17 yes and 0 no.
Okay. Counselor Hoskins, would you take on the,
Certainly, Mr. Chair.
Go to full council tonight.
what's your wish on that?
Yes, full council tonight.
Okay. Okay. Would you take on the resolution recognizing Secretary of State?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, before us is a resolution honoring the life and service of Secretary of State Charles Head, and I would like this to move to full council, entertain any additional co-sponsors. With that, I move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Sponsor, you got Norton, Garvin, Fulbright, Snell, Watkins, Stick. Blake.
Jack was thinking this
Yeah, he said yes. Garvin.
is it everybody?
Mr. Gardner.
Yes, we got Garvin. Everybody? Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to offer a friendly amendment on page 2, line 2, change the date to February instead of January.
I accept.
Okay. Okay. You accept. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Abstain.
Okay. Ayes have it. We'll present this tonight, council meeting.
Thank you, sir.
You want this in full council?
Yes. Any more questions or comments? Is that conclude? Next meeting, I'm going to ask Councilor Fulbright, are you going to have the Health Committee meeting next month at 12, or we're going to go back to 1?
1.
Okay, I'm going to move my Education Committee meeting to 12. And we'll stay on time that way. Maybe they'll give us a little break between committee meetings. Okay.
Give us more time.
Yes. Need a motion to adjourn?
So the motion we adjourn.
Thank you very much. Second. All in favor?
Aye. Get paid.